nga 저기 직 시럽 라야지 동반이 자치슈대다 되는지 장주기 셈셈장부 라야디 가진 제바레마도 디 칸드직라 셈장부 치고레 디 ngazo 람사냐 두기면도 주두기면도.
So this prajna, intelligence or insight that we have, so the best possible application of prajna or insight is towards emptiness. It's towards bodhicitta, the altruistic mind of enlightenment. It's, or we could also just say, a virtuous mind. And so we may be able to think, oh, that's good. Those things are good. It would be nice to have those things. But how to actually generate those mind states, how to do it, it's like we can't quite do that.
Yeah, 다이나 당봉한서 아주 류대 제주지체고스 남준도 내가 잔자 텔라츠츠 제대니 대바 망보 지당 내가 망보 차지 망보 뛴데니 류대 아니 칸다 진도 셈데 칸다 진도 칼레가 지 갑도 저당이 뉴뉴쇼.
That's so. So in any case, first of all, we can examine the body. The body is something we're using all the time. We're experiencing with our body all the time, engaging in so many activities, our work, our movement, our activity. It all, we use our body for that. So first, we'll look into how the body is, how the mind is. There's this sense of self, isn't it? So please meditate together. When you're meditating, please just keep your body relaxed.
The
body has, there's many key points of the body. So if we kind of slump our body, slump our head forward, then we'll feel sleepy almost right away. And we collapse the integrity of our, core, then we feel like sleepiness. And also, if we, let our neck lose its integrity and we kind of slump our head back, we also get kind of dull. So first, when we first start meditating, it's important to, prevent this dullness. And if we keep our eyes closed, it does kind of help bring the mind kind of together and helps this process of analytic meditation or inquiring, investigating. However, it also creates a condition for drowsiness or dullness.
In
within the Dharma teachings, we have teachings about this. For example, the 7-point posture of Varochana. So I think most of you have received instructions on that.
Then so the gebate pat tende chewaina yang lungki ki yongya la de yang tege naya tang yang geba naya tang ma wozi yong do wa de ya pat tende che trana ko tende da che khang dar supo rangbap chama rangbap semyang rangbap ngala de jeju chena serbo shide nganim jeju chi thugra.
If we sit with a very tight, rigid spine, we sit up too straight, too much tightness, then it disturbs our prana, our energy, and we can get pain, in the upper parts of the body. We can get pain in the back also after a little while. So we also shouldn't be so tight and rigid with the back. But just as Khandro was demonstrating, we should be rest in a very naturally settled way. If the body is completely natural, settled in its own way, the mind also is settled naturally in its own way, then we can conduct our investigation in a very clear and proper way.
Yeah, that gom general.
So now, please meditate.
Jeju chen tare ji jekomde zubula nga lai de kawandu jegom chen.
So particularly meditate in the sense of analytic meditation, investigating into this body. Where is this sense of self? Where is my sense of self in the body? Please meditate on that.
Rangi zimbagi ngane tena.
So if you look into your own clinging,
Ngandindwa chenchi doktor rao chiknawa tsikshagidwa.
it seems there's a perception, an experience that something is here. There's some kind of lump, something that is there, isn't it?
Yangjar ngadi kawandu ngi lui kan.
So this sense of self, where is it in the body?
Nga landi ngi lakwadi ngare mendo.
This sense of self, it's not my arm, is it?
Kangba ladu ngare mendo.
My legs, that's not me, is it?
Go labyundu ngare mendo.
The head, my head, that's not the self, is it?
De najin chashi riri kangla nga tseba ina nga mendo.
Like that, if we look through all the different parts, we don't find the self, isn't it?
Ta chashi titso te yang. Chashi yang.
The parts also,
sha pakpa tangbo pakpa tene sha tene tsa jupa ruku gang at ready.
First, we look into the parts of the body. There's the skin, and we have flesh, and we have nerves, and we have intestines, bones, sinews. So if we look into those things, looking for the self, we don't find it.
Tangi uktina uk ya nguk ma tang ya nguk ma tang du ubyang ngari medowa uk tingaina nga mambu chandro serwa.
Also, we can examine the breath. So we breathe in, we breathe out, we breathe in, we breathe out. It's also not a self there, is it? If it was a self, we would have many selves.
Tendege supo de chinange chashida. Ani zatik lung la sobola tana susuge chaksa yensa za chambo jinsa kasa yang yabo zik cheta susu le tena yang yongsa marwa.
So all the different parts of the body, the outer parts of the body, the physical body, the inner parts of the body, the prana, nadi, and bindu, subtle body, all those different parts. This thing that we cling to as so precious, so important as me. It's not really like that, is it? Can't really find it.
Teyang yip kato du tara chini jik lungi ngola yale chik yo devandra gu devandra meba maimba yonggu chi deva yeba maimba teni dur tara ni shik drovi rangshin shik la tena tebe chang 하장기 ngala cha koyada 하장기 ngala ane ka koyada 직 nga de dug a teni mikpa chesegi tarso tembegi yuji mazo ragi medwa.
And so when we look at all these subtle and coarse parts, then there's, it's not that there's nothing there. It's not just a nothingness, an absence, because something's moving. There's movement, prana, energy is moving somehow. There's not nothing. We also can't say that it truly exists, because if we analyze it into its subtlest particles, which is its actual nature, we don't find anything. And so this sense of self that I'm so attached to, that I give so much importance to, some kind of object that I'm fixated on, we can't really find it. So please, let's practice for 10 minutes analytic meditation, this process of inquiry, examining the body as I've described. So please meditate like that.
Yes. Then, so nam jundu ne combate tembala kichimodoa.
So it's very important to do this meditation, like ongoingly.
Tangatsu zimba dikare. Anda ni dang din doa.
So how is our grasping? What is our grasping like? Because that's our situation now, isn't it?
Tan dendegi chi dur chara chini chitang ani nga layaji dokto zindeba sharu dochi pungbo nyomoji ani jiwanji ramaba pangyanjo pangde zirwa pangjonde lineage 제발린 된존데 안에 오늘 지 코랑기 나와 가져오르다 네발라 딘디스도와 당아서 낭수라 카레요레 남상 삼스당
So so it's like the underlying reality is just coarse and subtle particles. But somehow within that, we cling as if there's some kind of solid thing, some kind of lump there within that we cling to as our sense of identity. But its nature is just these subtle and coarse particles. And so we have to look into, and then this body that appears, this body is just the result is just like a karmic result of prior karma and klesha and afflictive emotions. It's like a compounded phenomena that results from those things. And so we have to look into it in this way, how things actually are, the underlying reality, and we have to look into how we perceive them, what our perception is, and what the truth is.
Korang 참모간에 되는지 요아점 들으치니지 대양양 식도야지 그 니지 되는지 도와.
So if we look at what is there, the side that is there, we have flesh and blood and bones and skin and organs and so on. But then we look more and more into that, subtler and subtler. We get to just like very vibratory particles. And then we keep going, and even that falls away. Even those basic vibrating particles are destroyed. We can't find those. So that, is the compounded body. That's the compounded phenomena that we acquire based on karma and afflictive emotions.
근데 여당데 콜레라오 하고기도
That reality, that existence described in that way is quite straightforward to understand.
되네 참모안에 매당대야 하고기도
And then we go subtler and subtler into that, and we can start to see the way that it does not exist, the way that these things do not exist also.
가르치는다 띵중기 저완님 바델라 띵중기 안에 여당제당 디 띵중 니승 다 띵중 인장 대로 띵중대 참모신도 참모네 차시 두체 진이 니승 로잖아 안에 코라인 랑진데 안에 치 ngazu du zuktachi laadiya 코란게 랑진시 타뚝 조데 ngane ngazu ko 랑진 식조야당 라조야 제도와
Because we can look into dependent origination, the interdependence, how everything is just dependent on something else. And so that shows us how things appear, how they also don't exist. And so we look into that very, very subtle interdependence. And it's like the nature of our experience, visual objects, sounds, smells, tastes, sensations. We look and look and look into the subtlest element of them, and then they kind of fall apart. They fall away. There's nothing fundamentally there at the end of our looking.
끼찍 인줄바테와 니승안에 야 쟁이야 마 직조야 니디 니승안에 니수직안에 야호시 따용들 아니 짐바 nga lan za chawo zi zimbata jambata chakwa chede ale tata rang mido chenji rangji nga kachi ne ngala chawo kachi ne ngala zen chewaji lirwa.
So there's this just momentary change, momentary impermanence. Every moment things are appearing. Every moment things are vanishing. So within that momentary impermanence, then we have this clinging, this grasping onto the sense of self, me, mine. And so then we start to ask, why? Why are we clinging onto this sense of self, clinging onto it, attached to it, holding on to it within this constant momentary change of everything? So the question then comes, why am I clinging like this?
Yeah. 딘데게 알아야지. 니 죽불라야지. 마모지래 따와리 여당디 서로바지너네. 마 여다요. 마티 두아티 서로바기. 양 무슨 동기도와. 그나디. 아니 나타다 깨지시기도. 민두와 나이 통수. 누가 나이 통수. 나두 민두 닝기 통이지. 로지당 디 서로 냥이직 도와.
Also, when we feel the sense of self, the sense of a self, and we look into the body, it's somehow there's something there. There's something here. The body also there's an experience that we have of the body. It's there's feeling, there's experience when we look also at the body. And through that feeling or experience, there's like, yeah, but I'm here. There's something here. I feel like I'm here. There's also that perception also comes that is like a direct experience that we have also. I'm here. So then, we can look into that. Is that there? Is it not there? Is it possible that there can be a mind state that understands how it's there and not there at the same time? And while having that experience and have the felt experience of that at the same time. Is that possible?
대성장 대바로 되니 nga tunge mande bata nga tewande sorba tewa tunge layadi ani suputhi re mindolane sim layaji yang ji suputhi ji chashi re khala re mindu ani ta sim lani shebaji khala rogodoa shebaji ngone ani o nga tere meritas sheba di zindang di ta nga lana lamsam toktozi chik tokto chik namjin perezana nga lana chi karjugura ta chik tembonda toktonda ta chik tinjung yi chamu mambo zire jujenda dewa zire re matemba chini chik su rangawa rangjinwa 아니 지 잼바로바 지 증기도와
So within all of that, we don't want to suffer. We want to be happy. And we have these continuing experiences of pleasure and pain, happiness and suffering. So even if we conclude that the self is not the body, that once we divide up the body into all these different parts, we can't find it, the self is not there, then still remains is the mind. The mind has, there's some kind of cognition, there's some kind of consciousness. So then we have to go into that. So, in this kind of cognition or consciousness that we have, we might think, the mind is this, or maybe, the self is this, or maybe we think the self is not that. But within the way we cling, if we look at how we cling, so we cling to the self as being like a whole somehow, a whole thing, some kind of lump, some kind of whole entity or thing. And we think I, the self, is somehow stable. It's somehow like a lasting thing that remains. Some kind of lump that's there. We don't think about subtle dependent origination, about subtle interdependence, how everything is completely reliant on other causes and conditions. We don't think like that. We think somehow that I am an independent thing. the self. And we cling to it like that.
다 디 니수잉아니 시럽 저르제이나 뉴몬지 시럽 마도 코페 시럽 피도 중앙데 배주 당시기면도 뉴몬지 시럽.
So within this context, we have a certain kind of prajna, a certain kind of intelligence. But in this context, our intelligence is mixed with klesha. It's mixed with afflictive emotions. We cannot generate the most excellent kind of prajna.
다 뉴몬기 시럽 디기 남도 티용거로 남도.
And this intelligence, mixed with our afflictive emotions, generates all kinds of thoughts.
남도 디기 안에 야 메시 동에 숙침부 조도와.
And these thoughts that we have causes so much suffering.
다 오늘 치기 가져로다 지 튠진 릭드서 짜침보다래 디 남도래 디 고흐마레 세고 말에 난기 주고대양 세미나다 지 주고이나다 디 고흐 말에 디 육쇼 세게 말에 디 뭐니지 가래 치 뭐니지 가래 튠진 짜침보디 가래 아니 디 용당디 가래 딘디삼 땅와이는 가츠기 뒤준도 셈제지 시럽 배주 땅양디 묘모 쟁기 시럽 몽데야 디짬마도 시럽 텔리 자체자 텔리 띵잡아 뭐이 뉴스카라 도난 지고요 말아봐.
So, of course, we need supportive, conducive outer conditions. We need outer circumstances. We need to create beneficial, conducive outer circumstances. So we're not saying that we should completely forget about that or ignore that. That's not what's being said. Also, even though we're looking into the nature of the body and the mind, we're not saying that, therefore, we have no need for a body or a mind. That's also not what's being said. Therefore, we should just give up, abandon the body and the mind. That's not what's being said here. What's being said is we have to come to see what the actual reality is, what the true underlying condition, the nature actually is. What is the nature of outer phenomena? What is their underlying reality? What are the nature of conducive conditions, beneficial circumstances? What are the nature of that? How do those come about? And so, generally, ordinary sentient beings, always their intelligence is mixed and caught up with klesha, with afflictive emotions. And so there's a certain kind of like dark ignorance involved. And so we're not giving interest, we're not giving attention to a different kind of prajna, a different kind of insight that's like opens very wide, opening our insight or our prajna. That a kind of prajna that is not mixed with afflictive emotions. And so we're not really giving attention or interest to that.
제상 아주 류딘디 배주 제단기 짐베하지. 로당기 니중안에 아주 간스춘 로에메. 아니 대화 되고요 나가서 대화 말아봐대. 칸지는 아주 제대로요 봐. 아니 동에 만들어봐이나 동인디 매번 만들어봐대. 가르치는 가지라 딱봐 동이 양자를 칸지스 연구하면디 아주기 니리 초하다 류데 배출 땅을 왕네 짐바당 아니 젬바다 냠도 째네 지 칼레라 아주 졸릉지 치고스 데 제바이나 아주 칼레 소수기 심 야고 데 삼노 땅바이나 데니 베르지는 땅 아주 아 진짜지 류당 셈 라야디 셈데 서로 아직마도 아주 입 가도 통금에 놓아
That's all. So then we can also reflect this physical support we have, the body that we rely on. How are we using it? How are we employing it? How are we engaging with it? What kind of clinging is involved with the way that we use our physical body? How is confusion functioning? And so we have to look into that. So all of us, we want to be happy. We want joy. But somehow we don't get it. We never quite get the kind of happiness and joy that we want. Why? How is it that we don't get it? Why aren't we getting it? Suffering. We don't want to suffer. Why do we continually keep suffering? So we look into the body and slowly examine the body and the feelings, the felt experience, how we are clinging, how we are grasping to our body and our feelings. And so, and slowly, carefully look into this. So, for example, we have the body and the mind. The mind, actually, when we look into it, it's only like an experience. It's only just a feeling or an experience. The mind has no shape and no color.
얘는 서로 대화 여바다 동해 여바디 다 스미바 마도 jen 드시체스키 말바
And the felt experience of happiness and suffering, pleasure and pain only occurs in the mind. It doesn't occur anywhere else.
아 딘디 셈 동해 만들바 대반되바지 시럽 디다 뉴몬진 로다잉안이야 드시제긴다 뉴모 단념도 로다잉안 주당
So this mind that does not does not want to suffer, this mind that wants joy and happiness. And so how is our native intelligence, the one that's mixed with klesha, afflictive emotions, how is it confused? How does confusion work? I'm going to discuss that.
때네 수부데 샤리 두치지 풍부 다리 캔 사보지도아
So this body, which is like a, just an aggregate, a heap, a compounded sankhara, a compounded heap. It's pretty strange, isn't it?
네 성적 제할라?
In order to protect it,
아니 가서 튠지 몸부지 거기도아.
We need so many beneficial conditions, don't we?
되네 갈라사 독이도나 칼라사.
When we're hungry, we need to eat food.
아니 차나 둘루큰.
And we feel cold, we need to put on clothes.
아니 signa dhara. 아니 짱마 용야라. 아니 직수부서다 써야다 지겨러와.
And then we need all kinds of things to clean our bodies also.
네 예사야고.
We need a nice bed,
칼라야고.
good food,
대사야고.
a nice home,
되니 빼샵 여와.
and we need some money.
뒤에 거기도.
We need that, don't we? Yeah.
아니 딜 때네야 쑥 드라만다 통야.
And then we also need beautiful things to
아니
look at and sounds and smells
아니 단드라만다 롱죄야.
and all kinds of lovely sounds to enjoy
티드라만다 롱죄야. 때
네.
그거를 주보를 참은 그거를.
and nice smells to enjoy too. The body needs all of these things.
아 대수 찍 많잖아. 야? 내가 제차래.
But as soon as even one of those things is slightly too much, the happiness is gone.
야, 나 뒤수 딱. 야, 딱 가서 출발이. 증거를 밀린데 안에 가서로 전달된 바 시럽 짜치모 줘야 치더라. 뭐지? 뒤송접 치고도.
So, this body, all kinds of that we hold to with so much confusion. This body that can also be the base of prajna, insight, wisdom. We have to take care of it too.
나 주만 답이 중고디 실라치가 패.
So then this illusory body, we have to take care of it. And these illusory teachings. So then we need to also go eat. So